Hello everyone and welcome to episode 180 of the Xbox Hall of Gamers podcast. This week I am joined by Cameron.
Hello.
And Keo.
Hello.
You guys really got I still don't understand why you guys pause so long after I say your name. Like it's like I'm not going to edit it. Like there's always a gap. Anyway.
Really?
Because every time I'm not sure which one you're gonna say.
But you guys are
so
yeah. All right.
No, I get ready. I get prepared for my name to be called first, and then the wrong week happens, and then I get thrown off. And
unbelievable.
So I'm just leaving a gap for you to put like animal noises.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sure. Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not gonna have time to do that shit. As always, we do the show live on Twitch. Xbox Hall of Gamers is the place to find us. Come say hi, hang out, the usual business. We try to interact with the chat as much as we can while we're doing the show. We got some people in here. We've got my beautiful wife is here, and so is Red Ninja Dan, who's got a question coming up. But first of all, how you guys doing? How you guys been? But how's your week been? Cameron, start with you.
I'm loopy. I've been working like 55 hours this week. I'm tired.
Damn, yeah, that's a lot.
If I get too tired, my ADHD just kicks in, and I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not working as much. So I'm only doing like a few days a week, and I had like a whole weekend off last week to go to a first-year-old's birthday party that got canned because of it was friends have got a kid, just turned 1. It's supposed to be a big thing, and the kid had conjunctivitis.
Oh.
So. We still went and saw them. So we braved the went and spent the day with them. That was really nice. But and then I've had too many days just kind of like around. So I started gardening. I went outside and started, cleaning the yard up. So
Jesus.
But it's been raining. It's been raining. So I've had 2 days to do it, like in between, like torrential rain. So that's been the rest of my week. So.
I know you just chose to do gardening in the middle of winter.
Well, okay, let me put it this way. You look down the side of the house and you're like, okay, well, I'm getting sick of how this gets overgrown and I can't do shit with it because the lawnmower is too big, doesn't get down the corners of you have to whippersnip and then it's just weeds and stuff. So I'm like, I mulched the motherfucker, right?
Yeah, sure.
I just got in there and covered the shit up.
Yeah.
So, you put down your cardboard and you layer it up so there's nothing underneath it.
Put some sand on it, you start breakdancing.
Yeah. And then, exactly, right? So...
I need to check if the Americans actually understand what a whippersnapper is as well.
A weed eater.
Sorry,
a line trimmer.
Or a line trimmer.
Sorry,
line
yes.
trimmer.
When I used to work for a hardware supplier, they would definitely not use weed eater. It would line trimmer is the official, very much the official vernacular.
A weed whacker.
Yeah, whippersnapper is what I.
Whippersnapper, yeah.
Yeah, the old whippersnapper.
Yeah, young whippersnappers.
Aren't they whippersnappers?
Whippersnappers. Oh, yeah. All right, well, that's enough out of you fucking guys. Goddamn.
Only when I'm clicking my fingers telling them those kids to get off my lawn.
His freshly mulched lawn.
Yeah.
We do have a question here from Red Ninja Dan, who's in the audience today, who says, what DC hero or villain would you guys like to see get their own game? After completing DC Justice League Cosmic Chaos, which is in the completions, I'd want a Wonder Woman or a Superman game. It was a shame that the Wonder Woman game that was coming got cancelled. That was the one that Monolith was working on, the Fear guys that got canned a few weeks ago. I don't know. Does anything spring to mind? I've got a couple.
I'm not a big fan of DC.
Sure.
I'm usually
I don't think
over DC. Right? I'm not going to comment that. I thought I had the perfect answer until I realized it was actually a video game that was put out in 2006.
Okay.
Teen Titans.
Yes, although that game was trash. Hang on, no.
It's just,
you're thinking of Young Justice, right? Oh, no, sorry, that also is DC. But no, Teen Titans was earlier. Yeah, that was a PlayStation 2 game, I think.
PS2, GameCube, and Xbox. I did not know it was a thing until today. But I thought, do like a beat 'em up Metroidvania with each of the characters having different powers. I think that would be a pretty cool idea.
Yeah, I like that idea. the sort of team dynamic works quite well for something like this. The kind of thing that should work really well in something like Suicide Squad, but doesn't.
Yeah. My joke answer though is Polka Dot Man game.
I don't know what Polka Dot Man is, so I'm gonna have to.
Have you not seen Suicide Squad?
The movie? No.
Yeah, he just throws polka dots at people.
Oh, okay, sure. All right, yeah, fair.
That's all his power is.
Sure.
And it's great.
Yeah, right.
Red Ninja Dan also points out The Wolf Among Us counts as DC. That's a bit of a funny one.
Does it?
Well, okay, so because DC published it originally, but Fables, the universe, is its own thing. Fables is actually public domain now because the author of it was like, fuck you, I don't want to get... He got into a big legal battle and he's like, fuck you, I'm just going to make it all public domain so you can't do shit with it. So, yeah.
When are we getting that sequel?
Wolf Among Us 2 is supposed to be next year, right? Or this year or something. I don't know, sometime soon. We haven't heard much about it. Kia, what about you? You got any DC ideas?
Well, I'm kind of like not that big on the DC stuff. I just don't know a whole lot of characters outside the standard ones that we kind of know, right? So I'd be happy with an Alfred Butler of Batman game.
Hell yeah.
Where, you just do something really, what's he doing after the death of Batman or something,
Yeah,
so,
Alfred's rip-roaring revenge.
Exactly right. So, yeah.
Stealing from that idea, management simulator where you're just taking care of
the Justice
everything
League.
when Batman's out.
Yeah.
You're just playing as Alfred, just managing everything.
Trying to keep Wayne Manor from falling apart as one guy, but also, fixing up all of Batman's costumes and shit as well whenever he breaks things. Alston says Nightwing's butt. That's not a game, but I know that has been a popular topic of discussion recently because there has been a lot of chat around who they would cast as Nightwing, and they don't think that there's a human alive that has the right butt for it. So that's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, I'm just scrolling through the DC website of characters, and they've labeled Earth 0 through to Earth whatever 29, 30, 40, whatever as characters in the universe. Apparently.
Yeah, well, look, I could get into the Crisis of Infinite Earths, but I think I might be too nerdy even for this show. But
can I just go back to the Alfred point? I really want a butler taking care of a spoiled billionaire management sim now.
Yeah, there you go.
It just sounds so stupid.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I
see that as a
I reckon that's cool. Cool.
Red Ninja Dan is like, this is 100% not what I asked for, and I'm just like,
yes,
no,
Dan, I'm going
give us our Butler game.
I'm going to answer the question correctly, and that's I really would like a Flash game. I know Flash is dead. Insert joke here. But I know they were working on a Flash game a long time ago, and there was some concept stuff that got leaked around, running around a city or something, open world thing. But the Flash has always been one of my favorite superheroes in terms of his abilities, because super speed's fucking cool, and the implications of that are really interesting. Even though the Speed Force lets him do basically whatever the plot needs him to do. But the other bit is that I also like Barry Allen as a character, and he's a interesting non-typical superhero dude. He's not dark and gritty like Batman. But he's also not super optimistic and naive like something like Superman kind of is often portrayed to be. He's kind of somewhere in the middle, where he's a relatively regular guy for the most part, which I've always enjoyed. And again, I really enjoyed the Flash TV show, the early seasons at least. Again, I know it's CW trash, and they had it
I really liked that as well. Actually, that was a pretty solid series. So
yeah, I don't know if I can go back and watch it now. I think it's very much of its time. But
yeah.
It's still better than Ezra Miller.
Oh yeah, I was going to say Ezra Miller. No, absolutely not. I mean, I think a Batman game would be pretty good. They should do one of those maybe. I think
Ooh.
Yep.
James Gordon, crime thriller.
Yeah, something like that would actually be pretty cool. I think something in the universe would be kind of interesting. Mm-hmm. I kind of like what they did. I like the concept for Gotham Knights, where it was Batman but without Batman. and they were kind of doing their thing, and then it was like, oh, but
Yep.
then it just turned into like, just kind of trash. But I think like the concept of the idea of like the Bat family is always a strong one. I think the biggest problem with DC is like their rogues gallery in terms of like villains are usually like outside of Batman and some of Superman. Like I could probably name like 20 Batman villains right now, but if you ask me to name 20 Superman villains or Flash villains or Wonder Woman villains or anything, I'd probably get maybe one or two. Just because I just think, which is like completely different to what you get for like Marvel.
This
could get
is
like
the other problem.
Yep.
I was going to say the other problem too is like movie versus gaming.
Sure.
If you're paying for the IP, you're paying for the big names. You're not paying for any obscene characters and all that. However, some people like James Gunn though, because James Gunn is so successful. Like Superman, I don't like DC, but I want to go and watch Superman now.
Sure. Yeah, that's fair.
Which I never would have thought I'd be in that kind of situation. Because usually DC just gets rebooted every few years anyway, so it's...
Well, yeah, this is another one. Sorry, what were you going to say, Kia?
Yeah. I was going to say that, I mean, I could go with like a Solomon Grundy kind of like generational, right? So it's because it's kind of like Deadpool, right? Where he just keeps kind of coming back.
He's coming back,
dies, I guess. Yeah. So it's just like, you can imagine like thousands of years or whatever it is, however old he is.
Solomon Grundy through the ages.
Some dark, cycle of life, so...
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
Is Watchmen DC?
It's Vertigo, which is DC owned them, yeah. So they're not part of the like DC canon, but yeah. I think they're pretty much owned by Warner Brothers or whatever. Warner Brothers has distribution rights, so basically, yeah.
I can't think of any other characters.
Yeah, I mean, like I'd like a Green Lantern game would be good, like a really interesting one. Like the movie license game was not the worst.
No,
it was actually surprisingly
I had
good game.
I
my
played that
glasses.
game and then tried to play Thor and actually couldn't play Thor.
Oh yeah, Thor was rough.
So I mean, I tried to play because I was just doing like a few superhero games.
Yeah,
and I did Green Lantern, and then I started Thor, and I'm like, no, I can't do more of this. They were pretty similar in terms of like gameplay.
Yeah,
I didn't enjoy it as much, I think. So it was a decent game.
Yeah, so. Deathstroke would be interesting. Again, like I feel like most of what you're going to pick are going to be Batman villains, right? Like a Joker game or a Harley Quinn game or something along those lines. Two-Face, Actually, no. Actually, no. You know what the correct answer is? I'd like a Batman Beyond game. I know they pitched it, and they talked about it, and I feel like would be a great time for it because I think that people my age are nostalgic enough for that show that I think that
wasn't there a movie?
No, they were planning on doing a movie. That was like an animated movie in the same vein of like Spider-Verse with that kind of similar sort of styling. But I didn't get off the ground, unfortunately. But that would be amazing because I think Batman Beyond was like that. That was my growing up, like because I used to watch obviously the animated series, Batman the animated series, and then the fact that it just basically continues on straight into Batman Beyond, and there's that cool like cyberpunk sort of feel to it with some really cool villains. I need to go back and watch that show. Actually, it was fucking fantastic. The way they kind of wrapped it up, though, is kind of fucky, but whatever. But yeah, hopefully that answers the question, Dan. I don't think we're super DC people here, but now that DC is making maybe a bit of a resurgence, I guess we'll see how it goes. All right. We do have a little bit of news this week. So, payment platforms. We talked a bit about this last week, about how they were payment processors were putting pressure on Steam and itch.io and a bunch of other places, and MasterCard were like, well, it's got nothing to do with us, it's the payment processors. And then the payment processors pointed back to MasterCard and said, hey, you have a thing in your clause saying that anything that could potentially damage your brand reputation means that you won't work with the payment processors. So the payment processors won't work with Steam and all the storefronts, which means the storefronts won't stock any of these games. So the whole thing last week was they were removing all the like adult, not safe for work stuff And some of it's maybe coming back, but not all of it. And kind of there's a little. And again, we kind of discussed this last week about just being pure censorship and just complete fucking bullshit. And just unabashed, just unashamed, just fucking just trying to just dictate what is okay and what is not in terms of art. And of course, to no one's surprise, apparently they're not going to stop there. Apparently there's been pushback against other games that have anything of a kind of sexual or violent nature in them at all. Some examples that have been given have been GTA, Saints Row, Duke Nukem, things like that, you know. Even games with like slightly raunchy humor.
Yeah, I get Duke Nukem though.
I mean, to be fair, I don't think anyone should play Duke Nukem because it's trash. But you know, like I don't think they should be censoring.
It would not fit in the current climate.
No, for sure.
So, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, any thoughts outside of this is fucking bullshit and like no shit this was going to happen? I can't believe it happened so quickly.
It's just dumb. That's my only opinion on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is a little bit. I mean, you can't. I don't know, but if you've got stuff like you get Afterpay, and Afterpay is essentially like Mastercard. It uses the Mastercard platform. Like if you pay the $10 for your to use it as a card,
right,
like an FPOS card, then it's basically a Mastercard. So, and does anything that you buy with that as a MasterCard on any platform kind of like, you know, like they can't stop what you're buying when you're just buying stuff normally. So, like,
what's to stop them?
So,
what's to stop them from just moving to a different payment platform though?
So
that's the thing.
Again, like Visa and MasterCard obviously are the two big players in terms of, now that there is some like technical difference between like them and payment processors. They're slightly different things. So like Stripe, for example, is a processor and things like that. But obviously they have to work with the credit card companies to accept the payments to come through to make sure that it's all, you know, there's a whole symbiotic relationship thing.
Yeah.
And there are other payment processors out there, right? Like if you think about a lot of those companies don't want to be associated with like pornography or anything like that, of anything of that kind of nature. And so there are payment processors specifically for those things, like people who like payment processors who have created a market to go, well, I'm doing this solution. Like, hey, you do this kind, you know, you sell porn or whatever. Like like we are comfortable with that. You can do it through us, but those are usually more costly and don't have as good like. There's like other issues that make it not as easy as just going. Let's use Stripe. Let's use Wind Cave. Let's use the other shit. And so, but the problem is that like most of these payment platforms want to use the right. They don't want to get locked out. It's not a question of like, oh, don't use the payment processor. It's like, well, the payment processor might refuse to do business for all of our business, and so. You know, if someone spins up the Steam for porn or whatever, like porn games or something, then Steamy, there you go. You see, there you go. Right stuff, right? Like it's the kind of thing that would kind of like that's maybe a different scenario where it's like, well, this is the one thing we only use this payment processor. Like we make sure it's a separate thing from the rest of the stuff that we do. But because Steam has all other kinds of stuff, they'll just remove all the not safe for work stuff because they don't want to risk the rest of it. Which is, again, 100% fucked. Like, it's crazy that this is even happening at all. So this kind of kicked off with a storefront called Zoom platform. So they basically do, like, old PC games and that kind of stuff, but DRM-free, similar to what kind of GOG does.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the DRM-free stuff, again, like stuff like Duke Nukem, older games that are probably, less, very much like of their time, probably less appropriate these days, but still, like, whatever. Like, they still have ratings on them. They're not, like, anyway, I mean, especially Duke Nukem, it's mostly just crass. It's not that bad. But they basically said that they don't have any plans to remove any titles if they can avoid it. But they have a quote here. So, in the course of our discussions with the payment processors going over the content contained within games in our store, including the Duke Nukem franchise, we were made aware of loosely defined language from credit card companies that would include Duke Nukem's portrayal of women. When we pressed for more details, given the language cast such a wide net, we were told that Grand Theft Auto and other similar titles like Saints Row could very well fit the description. And so they're basically going like, well, this is fucking insane. And there's been also a few devs who have chimed in, Aggro Crab, the guys who made Peak and a few other things, basically saying that, you know, they've expressed some concerns around the fact that, like, if puritanical groups can dictate what people worldwide are allowed to spend their money on, it threatens video games' ability to operate in any sort of way whatsoever. Like, why would you make and release a video game if you aren't sure whether you're going to get censored for just your opinion in a game, right? If we're, and I know that, like, people go, oh, slippery slope, you know, but like, we're seeing it already, right? Like, in what world is Saints Row the same as some, like, you know, some fucking AI porn game that someone makes? Like, the leagues apart. And it just brings me back to when we had the whole, like, Jack Thompson thing back in the GTA days of, like, trying to get, like, fucking GTA taken off shelves and banned and all that sort of
Mortal
stuff.
Kombat.
Yeah, I mean, there's always been these groups.
Arguably, like, Duke Nukem, GTA, Saints Row, the only way that they've pushed that content into the game is that it's satire.
Sure.
It's a satire of something and of the stereotypes of the time.
Yeah.
You know? So, I mean, none of that was serious. So...
Yeah, but I guess it's just the thing is, like, I don't, like, like, I don't think artistic merit gets taken into account, right? Like, it's very much like the loosely defined language of what they're trying to implement, what these credit card companies are basically saying. You know, like, we had someone from Obsidian basically be like, it's porn games now, but it's not going to stop there. As long as your product is not illegal, they shouldn't be allowed to decide what you can and can't buy. And I think that kind of just sums it up. Like, it's insane.
My concern is them going after, like, smaller indies as well, of, like, these companies that, you know, these smaller companies that are not going to be able to fight back against stuff like this.
Yeah.
You know, fair enough. If they go against the GTA and all that, you'll have a general consumer base push back and say, like, no, that's too far. Don't take my GTA.
Yeah. Can you imagine that, like, oh, you can't, GTA 6 is not available on any of these platforms. Like, the MasterCard and Visa are just not letting us put it on Steam. Put it on
GTA only available with Visa.
Yeah, well, GTA only available on a pirate site because you can't pay for it. You literally can, like, you literally have to do a back alley deal to get a copy of GTA 6. Actually, that's a good title for this episode. Actually, I need to think about that. There's a skit there I can think of.
I thought Steamy was the I was going.
Steamy is also very.
I thought
good.
Kia had it.
Steamy's very good, but I don't know. I just feel like to your point, Cameron, indies also often touch on stuff that is kind of outside of the norm, right? They touch on, like, tough subjects that most publishers wouldn't want to touch, and it's like, oh, you know, like. Is something like Blasphemous, for example. That game is, like, you know, kind of depicts religion in a pretty negative fucking light, especially Catholicism. Obviously, it's like an obfuscated, different version of it, but the idea is the same, right? Like, something along those lines that is, you know, like, anti-religious or, you know, anti-Catholic or whatever. Like does that go against the morality of these businesses, and so we can't have games like that anymore? Like, where does it end? Especially, with, like, loosely defined. I mean, again, I don't want any of the censorship. It's ridiculous. But the fact that it's so loosely defined kind of means that they can just wield this like a cudgel. And anything that they kind of feel like they don't want or don't want to be associated with at all for any reason could just vanish.
I'm just thinking the games, like, I know everybody has their opinions on Postal.
Sure. It's a
like,
fucking trash game. Like that.
But it's still, you know, Outlast 2, for example.
Yeah.
I think there's certain horror games that, you know, censorship groups could push for.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially Outlast 2 with the sexual violence stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to that point, with Outlast 2, you look at the few games that are censored on Twitch that you can't play, and that's probably the extent of, like, really bad content.
Sure.
You know, so because that's all, like, been monitored at some point and then been put on the list, right? So outside of that, you know. Yeah, but again, where did they get?
There's a difference between streaming a game out to other people, right, and buying and playing a game in your own home, like.
Yeah. In the privacy of your own home, as opposed to a public platform.
Yeah, exactly.
The other thing I'm concerned about too is, like, all the nuances when it comes to games like this and that, like, depending on the situation, because there's stuff that probably rightly deserves to be banned, and then there's stuff that I think is just like ridiculous. Like I'm going through like games banned for ridiculous reasons at the moment. Bully was banned in Brazil because they were worried it was going to incite violence in high schools.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that. It's like where's the limit? Same conversation as last week.
Yeah, it is. It's just insane. The fact that it keeps continuing, and I'm going to keep bringing it up if this shit keeps happening, because I'm a proponent for you being able to do whatever you want with a video game. So, yeah. I think it's pretty fucked. Sort of related to this, GOG was doing it was like a 2-day thing where they were giving away a shitload of like banned or not safe for work games for free on GOG.
Okay.
So they were doing a whole thing, and like the idea being like drawing attention to this issue, but also giving some free stuff away, which always helps. So yeah, that was a big thing. I think they got like a couple of million people who downloaded all the games. So the word's getting out there, Although I did see a big thing of like, wow, there's a lot of porn games in my account now, and then so the most searched article on GOG was like, how do I hide some of these things? Because I just clicked yes for all of them. I did not look at all of them. What the fuck? Some of the stuff is really fucking weird. But I think what was that? What was that one that had the one with the hell game? Not hatred. Why am I suddenly blanking on it? It was the one.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
The demon one.
Agony?
You're on the right lines. I'm pretty sure.
Agony.
Yeah.
Agony. Yeah.
It was Agony?
Agony
Okay.
was in that list,
wow.
yeah.
Right.
I feel
Interesting.
But like Agony is the one that would definitely get banned, right? Like that's the kind of game that like a puritanical right-wing conservative group would be like, oh no, you can't have games like, you can't make games like that. You can't sell games like that. You should be in jail for doing something like that. How could you? That's insane.
Good old AHA.
Yeah. Anyway,
Let's all suffer through agony together.
Agony was rough. That game was bad. All right. So we got a new indie label coming from Australia, apparently. Cameron, do you know anything about this? You're an Australian, right?
Only what I've briefly mentioned. Only what I've briefly read. New indie label Umbrella Gaming has been launched by the Australian film distributor. They've signed a game called Pro Jank Footy, a comedy sports game involving talent from comedy group Arnie Donna.
Arnie Donna are fucking hilarious, so that's great.
Arnie Donna are great, especially that sketch with what's his name that plays Homelander again? I'm blanking on the name.
Oh, Anthony Starr.
Kiwi. Anthony Starr, yeah. I couldn't think of his last name.
Yeah.
Man, Arnie Donna do so many good sketches.
The board game sketch is my all-time favorite because, again, all of my friends are big into board games, and every now and then they'll just be like, "Hey, do you want to do a board game now?" And I'll send them that thing. But obviously, I'll say yes. But also, yeah, the fact that it's going to be, it's like I need to leave in like 20 minutes. It's like, well, this is going to be a 5-hour game, so sit here and listen to this thing.
The real estate one I absolutely love.
Also good.
So I think pulling from the article, like the Umbrella banner, basically they distribute a lot of the Umbrella Entertainment. They distribute a lot of like weird kind of films into Australia. Like, there's a lot of stuff that we hadn't have access to, and stuff like that. And they've like just looking at their box sets, like the Terrifier films and all that kind of stuff that we haven't really had proper distribution of, like Black Sheep, for example, from like New Zealand, so stuff like that.
Oh right, yeah, okay, yeah.
From my time working at a retailer that sold all this stuff and seeing them kind of grow, I mentioned Umbrella to somebody a couple of weeks ago, and I don't think it was on the podcast at all. But I was talking about how they were kind of getting a little bit bigger. But it was one of the only ways that we get like a lot of, I think, the international films.
Okay,
and smaller stuff. So if they're doing something like this, then we're getting like if they can pull this off, we might get something good out of it. Like
just
might
kind
be
of
a little corner of gaming that could get better and better. So
reading through some of the stuff, it looks like they apparently have the Australasian distribution rights for the films, like video game film stuff. So like Exit 8 and Return to Silent Hill, apparently they're going to be the ones distributing that over here.
Case in point, yeah, exactly right. So,
yeah.
The other thing I really like about this article too, announcement of Umbrella Gaming arrives the same week as Lyrical Games, a high-end indie label owned by Lyrical Media. Other independent film companies that have stepped into the video game industry include Annapurna Interactive. I would love for this to just be like a
thing.
I don't think this is going to go the way as like high indie level gaming experiences, but if it is like, for example, this AFL comedy game, if they're getting like Broden Kelly in, from Arnie Donna to do like voiceover parts of this game and all that, that's a great marriage between those two industries. It reminds me, at GCAP, I came up with this particular idea, stealing an Australian comedian. I don't want to give too much away from it, but like, I do think there is opportunities in that space that can be explored.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Well, I think that we've definitely seen a few of these like smaller film places like step in. Like Annapurna is a great one. Blumhouse were doing that whole horror thing. Like, was it earlier this year? I think, or last year? They're doing that whole.
They're still doing it, aren't they?
I think they're still doing it, right? Or are they?
I don't know. Is it in partnership with somebody like a streaming platform or something? Or
yeah, well, because they did Fear the Spotlight last year. That was the one they were showing off. And then I'm just looking through now. Yeah, okay. There's a couple.
They got a few.
Yeah, got a few. I remember they showed off like a little slideshow of all the kind of interesting, smaller indie games they were doing at Summer Games Fest. So like I love that idea of like kind of taking what you can do with film and kind of helping make video games. Maybe not necessarily based on those IPs, but helping some of that work happen.
Yeah, and if you need convincing, looking at the Umbrella Entertainment, if you Google that and just look up the label, and see the kind of stuff that we get over here just from them, it opens so many doors to like international games that we don't have access to now. If they tap into that and we can get some of the games, then it's another way for like Japanese games and Korean games or wherever they come from that aren't like high profile to kind of make it into the country on another platform.
Well, having this kind of stuff too, it probably gives them like some cross-pollination of like, all right, if there's an Aussie game that ends up going big and they're backing it, then they probably get like film or TV rights as well.
Exactly, yeah.
Some push to do that.
Seems to be the way of things, right? Like everything's getting at least the movie rights being bought for before the games are even out some of the time. So, what's that, Kingmaker or whatever, the one with the time traveling one with the guy with the drives the medieval thing with a fucking comes up with a ute and shit. Apparently they're making a movie out of that or something. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. But yeah, good to see more kind of more things happening in the indie space, especially down under, because we do have a lack of that sometimes.
Yeah, totally.
We need more publisher stuff down here.
That's
like realistically, there's not really much in terms of Aussie stuff.
This will be a quick one, but Meta's Reality Lab reports major second quarter losses. So they've apparently reporting a loss of $4.5 billion in the second quarter of 2025. So apparently they reported $370 million in revenue. So they're obviously still burning through cash.
Yeah.
But this is also following on from a $4.4 billion loss last year and a $3.7 billion loss the year before. So Zuckerberg is clearly still all on board for this, but I don't know. Do we have any thoughts? I mean, there were definitely some layoffs before, but that's kind of all that we really know about what's happening in that space.
I mean, the MetaQuest and stuff is it the Quest?
Yeah, MetaQuest, yeah.
That's only just started really hitting retail stores here. Or it's in limited supply, and there are a couple of places where you can go and get them. But it's people are walking into stores trying to buy these things now.
Oh, okay.
So, so it's probably going to take a little bit to bounce back from something like that, in terms of I mean the glasses, the Ray-Ban Meta glasses are fantastic.
I have heard good
The
things.
stuff that you can do from the things that you can do with them that you could never, you could be like a high profile streamer that walks into a bathroom, and nobody would know you're wearing a camera.
Yeah, yeah. You wouldn't
So
get banned on Twitch and then get found out
no,
for cheating on
totally
your
right.
wife. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean,
So,
well, actually, we are streaming on Twitch, so I don't think we're not allowed to say his name. But
no.
but yeah, it's a good point. I
Yeah.
mean, to be fair, the Ray-Bans are very cool, but also, I don't know. Like, do you guys have any interest in like the VR AR stuff? I feel like when it kind of came, I mean, they started it back in the 90s. They tried to do it for a little bit, and it didn't really go anywhere. And then they kind of brought it back, a few years back, and with like the Vive and the HTC Vive and the
Yeah.
and like PlayStation are barely doing it anymore either. Like they're not really supporting the
Yeah.
VR2.
I like the utility of the meta stuff with the apps where you could basically open up, multiple screens within the headset and then have different things like you have multiple monitors and then work within that environment. So like there's a lot of room to do stuff with it, and they're at the point where it is realistic, but it's definitely not like, and they're pretty cheap too, considering like the base ones, you can get.
What are they going for? I'm gonna have a quick look.
So yep.
I was gonna say, I still feel like it's too far in the fad stage to me, as opposed to like something that I would want to incorporate into my everyday life.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's cheaper than having 3 or 4 monitors if you can work in an environment, if there's utility behind it.
But what if I want to be like my friend and do like this and like lay back and look up into the sky because I have no self-control?
I'm suddenly reminded of there's a picture of a guy who'd like got a thing over his bed for his like switch to click into, so he could like lie down and sit like just have it over. Yeah.
Yeah, I have clips above my bed head that let me play in bed just looking at the screen.
Yeah, the thing that made me laugh though is that someone put next to it a baby in a crib with a mobile above it, and I was like, yeah, you know what? Like things don't change that much. The Ray-Bans do look nice, but I think they're about like $600.
Yeah, they're like 700-800 or something.
Yeah, about up to 700. Yeah.
I don't have a lot of trust for Ray-Ban as a brand, in all honesty.
Yeah, I'm more of an Oakley guy myself, to be fair.
I don't think Ray-Ban have the quality that they once did. But
I don't know. Like, yeah, you guys, like they are getting more affordable, but they're still, I think, outside of the realm of like a casual. Like, oh, get this gift for like, like they're not like in the gaming console space where it's like,
yeah.
You might be willing to throw down a good amount on an Xbox or something, but I don't know.
Yeah.
So
I needed to get to that
449,
point.
Yeah.
I need to get to that point of like we want to acquire users, like we're doing ridiculous steps to.
Yeah,
get
which again,
people
they're
into the
already
segment.
burning through cash and they're still too expensive. So I really don't know. Well, I know what they're planning, right? Is that Zuckerberg wants to have the metaverse be the next big thing, like the internet was, to be the next gathering place, so he can monetize the hell out of it and harvest all of our data even faster. But
And I bet you it won't be Meta that get to that point.
no, fuck no. No,
It'll be
they're
another
gonna put
company.
all this time and money and research into it, and they're gonna end up like fucking Skype did for Zoom. They're just gonna they're gonna be the first, and then they're gonna fuck it up, and someone else is gonna take their lunch.
Yeah, so the
I'm just-
cheapest
I'm just-
Ray-Bans are about $449.
Yeah.
Is that US? Is that
Australian.
Australia? Oh, okay, that's almost reasonable.
Yeah.
See,
I'm
it's,
looking at the local retailers.
I mean, going back to the meta conversation too, like I just think the more social media platforms that are coming up to, the more it's diversifying, the less interest there is to actually be in a space.
True. Yeah.
Like I feel like no social media platform. Okay, TikTok kind of does it okay at the moment, but every other platform's just
Yeah. TikTok's
Not-
going through a couple of different crazes with hardware, like cameras and stuff like that at the moment, that are really popping off. So it's a good way to sell hardware. Like,
Yeah, I've never owned a VR headset or anything like that. So I mean, I've considered it a few times, but never the investment and the time, and like they are getting better, but I don't know. It's probably going to be another 10 years before it really kicks off, if it's still around at that time.
Yeah.
If I end up getting one, it'll be 100% for productivity reasons. It won't be like the only thing that interests me on a VR headset is Beat Saber, and I just don't see myself buying
Which is
one
like it's not
for
worth
just that
paying
sole reason.
$700 for Beat Saber, right?
Yeah, and you're totally not going onto YouTube and looking up the 360-degree videos that pop up.
I mean, I want to go to France.
Go on there and look at the 2D versions.
Next story we got here is kind of two stories in one. Bioshock, you might have heard about it, is going through some troubles. So I think it was Cloud Chamber, I think is the studio that was set up back in 2019, I think it was. Cloud Chamber, yeah. So between 2019, we're working on the next Bioshock, so Bioshock 4. There was also a rumor about a remake of the first game. And apparently there's been some trouble over at that studio. And so they've got, as Strauss Zelnick and Take-Two have kind of gotten some questions around like what the fuck is going on over there. Because they've also basically their CEO for Cloud Chamber has apparently been ousted, quote unquote. It's the direct quote. And they've definitely been having some trouble with getting the game together. Apparently they're having some trouble with the narrative, which, you know, you feel like should be the strongest part of Bioshock because no one plays Bioshock for the gameplay. But yeah, it's there's apparently some shake up going on there. The fact that this has taken so long, 6 years worth of development potentially. Obviously through COVID, so that's always a bit of an interesting one. But yeah, I don't know. It's Strauss has basically come out and said that hand on heart, the game's not getting cancelled. Like it's 100% happening. But there's been no release dates, no updates. We don't know where it's at. And actually, Ghost Story, so the Ken Levine's studio who's making Judas, which is very much like based on that model, also doesn't have a release date or anything like that. But the thinking was that this Bioshock game would come out first and then that would come out later. Now, who the fuck knows? But I don't know. It's a real shame because Bioshock is one of those series that I just absolutely love.
I mean, wasn't Judas though? Might have been last year now. They were showing off. I don't want to say sneak peeks, but
they had some like behind closed doors
impressions,
previews, and things like that. Yeah, like very early impressions of like the beginnings of the game. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, any thoughts about Bioshock or kind of like? I mean, I think the other week we kind of said Bioshock.
It's overrated.
Oh, I mean that's a fair opinion to have. I can understand that.
I do think it is one of the most popular games that has not gelled with me, and I do not understand the love for it. But
well, that's because you read it at narrative level, though. So I mean, that's
no. Yeah, he skips the narrative.
He just skips through all the cutscenes, and he's like, "Why can't I shoot more things?"
And weren't you just saying that nobody plays it for the gameplay?
No one plays it for the gameplay.
Like when he's getting pure gameplay, he's not getting the love.
What is my motto? What is my 100% motto when it comes to games? Gameplay is key.
Yeah, to be fair, the games don't play badly, but they are not. Yeah, they're definitely not seamless.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Strauss basically says, we've had some ups and downs, and we've had some changes in studio leadership. And Kelly Gilmore has been ousted, failing an internal review of the game, with the narrative being a clear point of improvement. So things are not sounding great. I'm not expecting to see this game anytime soon. And the fact that they're also potentially shelving a remake is a bit of a shame because I feel like that would be a slam dunk. I was saying last night when we were in party chat that it feels like it's too soon for a Bioshock remake, but then I remembered that game came out in 2007 and I'm dying and decrepit. So
yeah, I'm hoping that they're not doing a non-Vita chamber run, the hardest difficulty.
Brass balls, yeah, I remember that achievement.
Brass balls, yeah. If they're doing a brass balls run with this game, like there might not be any coming back. So
yeah, I don't know.
Steamy brass balls. There you go.
That's a episode title right there.
Wow.
But yeah, so it seems like they were relatively upfront about the fact that the kind of things aren't going super great at the studio, which is kind of unusual for a publisher. They're usually pretty tight-lipped when things like this happen. But yeah, I guess, well, Cameron doesn't care because he doesn't care about Bioshock. I don't know. What about you, Keo? What do you think?
Well, I've got a love-hate relationship with the Bioshock stuff. Like, there was a lot of stopping and starting, I think, with like a couple of the games really to get through them. And then to this day, there's a lot of the DLC I never even touched, like including Infinite's DLC and how that links back to the other games. Like, I really found it hard to kind of like to really love it. I do like the idea of Judas. Like kind of like improving like every aspect of that. I don't know if there really is any coming back for the Bioshock brand as opposed to like moving on, you know?
Sure.
Like if they're adapting it to TV and all that kind of stuff, which I think they had rumors about that.
They were talking about doing it. Fucking Gore Verbinski was going to do the movie originally back in the Pirates of the Caribbean days.
And then just finding a different way to tie it to, and you know, other media maybe, but like Infinite did with its story basically everything that everybody kind of wanted from it. So I'm not surprised they're having trouble with the story if it's Bioshock related.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
They'll do a city underground or something, I guess.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see where it gets to. I mean, I'm still going to keep an eye on it because I'm a big fan of the franchise. But yeah, I am curious to see what a non-Ken Levine sort of helmed ship does once they get the shit
It'd
together.
have to be like in the middle of the Earth or something.
Yeah, journey to the center of the Earth or something. Yeah,
exactly. To really, because like underground, you're basically playing the Metro games. Space, you're playing Starfield.
I was space. You're playing System Shock, which is what
yes,
Bioshock was based on. So
yeah.
They might just go full circle.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. So yeah, maybe they link it back to System Shock and actually do a Bioshock 3 System Shock.
Sure.
You know, or something. I don't know. Do something.
All right, next one. This should be pretty quick. Contraband, which we're talking a little bit about in our episode around like where the fuck are these games, and then we found out most of them got cancelled. We were like, hey, where's Everwild? Oh, hey, where's Perfect Day? Oh, where's Contraband? Well, apparently it's stopped.
Contraband.
Yep, exactly. And the least surprising news. Development has now stopped while we evaluate the project's future. We're thankful for the excitement seen in the community since we announced, and we'll give an update on what's next as soon as we can. To remind you, everyone, it was the one that had the Steely Dan trailer. They showed it. They were showing like an announcement trailer at the 2021 Xbox Showcase. Some sort of co-op open world from the Just Cause people. Something around like smugglers in the 1970s. That was pretty much it. We also don't know if Avalanche are working on anything else, or this is just kind of or when this stopped. But
yeah, should stress too, like it's stopped. They may restart this.
Yeah, true. They may just be putting it on the shelf for now.
Yeah.
But they have apparently been working on it for 5 years, which, you know, I think a lot of the conversations we've been having around like these games getting cancelled and stuff and kind of not meeting milestones is a lot of very long development times, even longer than you would expect. It's like, again, game development times are like 3 to 4 years these days for big AAA stuff. Like having a 5-year game and being nowhere near launch, not a good sign these days. I feel like it's like too risky for a lot of businesses.
Yeah, and I think the 5-6-year-old ideas are kind of becoming like we're having a little bit of a paradigm shift with like the way people kind of do things at the moment. I think. So I couldn't really give any specific examples, but basically everything is up in the air because everything's like a problem, or recession stuff and this and that, and just all this talk of all these things and the way people interact with each other, and like some of this stuff just were born of good ideas or bad ideas and just should or shouldn't continue, I think.
Yeah. I do think Xbox is at a stage where they would happily just make a good game every 2 to 3 years from a studio, as opposed to letting a cycle.
Yeah, it seems like it's just getting too expensive and too risky. Speaking of expensive and risky, Sony is expecting to launch Marathon before the end of March 2026. So the game that's supposed to come out next month, you only have to wait
for them to fix all of the copyright.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So they are looking. So it looks like they're pushing it out by at least 6 months, maybe. But they also said they will not. They're not. This is very clear. They're fixing some problems. And sorry, let me find the exact quote here. We expect the launch to happen within this fiscal year, but having said that, this is not a commitment, and no official announcement has been given yet. So so I don't put any trust in that. But yeah, so basically, this is to their shareholders, basically talking about what's going on with Marathon being delayed.
Yeah.
I think we all kind of saw this coming. They definitely want to get it out this financial year because they do think it's going to be a pretty big thing for them. But is this a February release? Is this a March? Like, this is not this side of Christmas, right? This is definitely a early next year thing, right? If at all.
At this point now, yeah, definitely. And like they're not exactly having a golden kind of run with the new Destiny content either, right?
True.
So
yeah, Bungie in particular is in a bit of a rough spot. There's also sort of a related news story. There's been some chat at the same sort of shareholder piece around bringing Bungie more into PlayStation Studios and kind of running them more out of there rather than them being their own independent thing, which was always the risk. I heard that was kind of if Destiny wasn't doing well enough, or if Marathon didn't do well enough, that they were going to kind of change that, and basically that Bungie would sit more under like a regular studio as opposed to its own kind of thing.
Yeah,
especially with all the layoffs that happened recently. Yeah, I don't know. We still interested? Is it like, again? There's probably not much more to say here outside of like this is coming to Xbox. It is multi-platform. I really don't think they're going to get it out before March. I think this is going to be this time next year at this rate.
Do you guys have any interest in playing this? I don't.
I have no interest in it at all. Like it's crazy to me. Like even Destiny was something that I was like, obviously I didn't get into it, but I could have easily jumped onto that. Like I get a huge fan of Halo, big fan of the shooter stuff. If I had a good squad together when Destiny had come out, I probably would have jumped on it. This is just not looking appealing at all, and I don't know anyone who's even vaguely interested in it.
Well, I was vaguely interested when they started saying, like, when it started to seem like the Division survival mode.
Yeah, sure.
Kind of like a gameplay. I was like, oh, maybe they've got me with it, but it's a hard one. So
yeah. So I guess we'll see. They also mentioned that they don't think the delay is not going to have a significant financial impact, which either means they don't think the game's going to sell very well, or they're just kind of going to make it up somewhere else. Yeah. But yeah, I'm very curious to see what Bungie's future is as opposed to just what's going on with Marathon, because Bungie's a very interesting studio, and obviously Sony hugely overpaid for them, so the fact that they're underperforming, I think, is a pretty rough spot for them to be in. Yeah. And then last news story. This is not so much a news story as it is a collection of rumors, thanks to TA. But apparently there's been a bunch of leaks going around what's happening with Starfield with the new DLC.
Yep.
So, yeah, again, big pictures assault with this. We don't know anything. We did also note, I think, the other week that it was a bit strange that we didn't really see anything from Starfield at Summer Games Fest or at the Xbox showcase. They kind of just pretended it didn't exist, which is a bit strange considering they're having like a second expansion coming out like next year, like early. I think it's like March or April next year sometime. But apparently the new expansion is going to be called Starborn. Is the rumor?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, it's hard to line up a couple of these things when every like announcement of something new, you're basically expecting a PlayStation version being announced.
Yeah, which I think is definitely going to happen, right? Like they're 100% going to bring this to PlayStation.
Yeah. So if they plan on rolling in, say, this update with the PlayStation version, they wouldn't want to lead with that too early. I don't.
Yeah, maybe it's expansion 1 and 2, like deluxe edition for the PlayStation at launch at the same time.
Yeah.
Get to the top of the store because everyone wants to play it or whatever. Apparently, there's going to be looking to be some big changes for like space travel and kind of how that works. I'm hoping that they make the fast travel a lot better. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, we did a whole spoiler cast about Starfield when it came out and kind of where we landed with it. I don't know. Are you guys interested in going back to it? I've been keeping an eye on the sales for the expansion, but it's just never gotten cheap enough for me to want to pick it up. And apparently, it's not that great either. I don't know. Like, it is crazy to me to think that this is the studio that made Fallout and Skyrim, right? Like, those games are just like part of the gaming vernacular, and people just, and again, Fallout maybe is a little bit more controversial, but like Skyrim is one of those ones that just got fucking everywhere. And then we get Starfield, and it just dies a death in a way that was just like,
I feel like, as opposed to that though, it feels like they've been putting a lot of effort into Starfield.
Sure.
Compared to Fallout, compared to Skyrim and all that, where it's usually pretty good.
Well, yeah, I guess that
like not it's Bethesda level of jank, right?
Is it because like did they putting effort in because they need to get it up to a certain standard, or is it this was always the plan to add new things to it and keep supporting it?
I think it's more the case of Microsoft knows that they can sell well on PlayStation. Sure. Let's get it to a point where, wow, this game is amazing now, as opposed to this game feels like it was an afterthought compared to. Yeah, and I also think it is the fact too that this is Todd Howard's dream project kind of game. Like, this is a studio head saying like, I want this to be the best possible state it is, rather than going like, now let's just move on to the next thing.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Which they could do with like Fallout, Fallout success and all that. They could easily move on to Fallout 5. They could easily move on to Outer Scrolls. I do think Bethesda is at a stage where it's just like, we don't want this black mark on our record as well, kind of thing.
Especially after 76 and then this.
And feature updates are going to come with new expansions.
Yeah.
They're not going to piecemeal those things out with something like that, right?
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a bit at the end of the article where it's like, you can pilot your own ship into space and engage in space battles. Much of that traveling is done between orbit of planets via menu navigation. The update could potentially allow players to more seamlessly travel from A to B, enhancing the role-playing experience. I thought Starfield was a good game. It wasn't a great game.
Yeah, but I think the further I get away from it, the less I kind of enjoyed it, and it's stuck with me a lot less than every other Bethesda game I've ever played. Let me put it that way, right?
Yeah.
Whereas I can probably still tell you some of my favorite moments from Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, 4, maybe a little bit less, but like Skyrim and Oblivion, and that sort of stuff. And then you get to like Starfield, and I can vaguely remember some of the plot stuff from Starfield, but not a lot of it sticks out for me.
I mean, there was some stuff towards the end that I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, there's definitely some interesting stuff.
The thing is, though, too, like, narratively, it doesn't interest me compared to, like... I'm not really that interested in Skyrim, personally.
Sure.
I find a lot more interest in the Fallout stuff. But the thing that draws me back to my interest in Starfield is, like... Well, it was the stuff around launch. Like, I shared that Futurama ship on my Twitter account. It was like 1,000 likes
Daily
or something.
Express, yeah.
Like, it was...
Yeah.
It's that stuff that's like the creative elements of it and not so much the narrative. What else was there? There was the fact that like people realized that the more times you did like New Game Plus, or
things changed. There was one where it was like everyone
things changed. There was like babies. Yeah.
It's like, again, but like some of that stuff, like that's the kind of stuff I want to see in the game. I don't want to finish the whole game to see that stuff, right? Like, it feels like there's I don't know, like a disconnect in terms of like,
It feels like there's a level though of like, we're only going to reward like stuff like that though. We're only going to reward players that have played it like 10 times.
Yeah. So well, I mean, like, how many times have we said, "Oh, I wish I could have gone back to this game and played it for the first time as it is," and they've essentially given you the opportunity to experience something different at the end of the game each time. But if you realistically start the game again, you're going to start the game again as like vanilla.
But the problem is that like so little of what you get out of that experience changes based on your again, like the promise of that is making narrative decisions and like branching paths and things changing, but like so little in that game changes based on what you do outside of a few key moments. Which is again, like I know that's the curse of game development, right? Like you don't want to build content that people aren't going to see, but it's just yeah, I don't know.
We're talking about Simone's in the chat. We're talking about Starfield.
Yeah, Starfield. I would like to go back to it, and I'd like to like I do want to play the expansions, and like I do want to because there are some really good stuff. Like there was that mission where like you're jumping between the realities things. Like there was some really cool missions in there, but there was just like not enough of it, and most of it was just kind of like boring Bethesda Radiant quest jank, especially the environments. Again, like I'm not going to rehash all my complaints with that game, but I was pretty cold going into it. Like I didn't think it was going to be that great, and I enjoyed it for what it was, but I think that people were right to expect more from that studio.
I mean, if they're calling the DLC Starborn as well, like I'm really hoping narrative, like okay, maybe not so much narrative speaking, but like knowing the mechanic of like how that game ends, not giving too many spoilers away.
Yeah,
I do hope this is a DLC that like really leans into the idea and gives it
like there's
a new game plus some strikes.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept. Simone's just asking if we've all finished the game. I finished it. Cameron, did you finished it? I mean, because you know the ending.
Story-wise, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't finish it.
Yeah.
I haven't gone back to clean up the resource management stuff.
I went and did that. That was a pain in the ass. That was one of those things where you just kind of ran out of things to do in the game, and they kind of expect you to level. Which is another problem in and of itself. But yeah, it is a real shame. And I am hoping that like the rumors are true about like Bethesda Studios working on, you know, Elder Scrolls while also giving the Fallout IP and other stuff to other studios to work on. So they're not just holding it up because, you know, otherwise we're not going to see, I don't know. I think a Starfield 2 would be interesting. You know, like another go at it with some learnings, some new technology, maybe. But again, we wouldn't see that for like another 20 years. At this rate, at least.
Yeah. DLC shouldn't be $50.
No, that's the other bit too. I totally agree. I feel like that, like 10 hours of DLC should not be $50. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Game Pass updates. Cameron, do you want to run through those?
Yep. So we have available today Rainworld. Available the other day Rainworld.
Mm-hmm.
Lonely Mountains, Snow Riders, Citizen Sleeper 2, Mech Warrior 5 Clans, and Orcs Must Die, Death Trap. Is that one that you and Stevie were doing?
No, I did 3. Death Trap is the roguelike one. I was thinking about doing that though. But yeah, those are all coming to Game Pass Standard. They're all in Ultimate currently.
Yep. We've got Mirage coming to Ultimate and Hexen. August 12th we have Aliens Fireteam, and August 14th we have Nine Kings. And 21st was Herdlings, right?
Yeah, Herdlings. Yep, they just announced that as well.
Leaving, we've got Persona 3 Reload, Anthem, and Farming Sim 2022. Is Anthem still...
Not sure about Anthem, because it isn't on the list. There was some stuff going on around people firing up, was it Atlas? That, the sand game?
Yeah.
Apparently that was on, like, when people were firing the game up, they were getting the message.
Oh, Atlas Fallen.
Yeah, Atlas Fallen. About the game leaving, that's apparently been taken away, so it is no longer leaving, but it might be like in the next batch. They might have pushed it too early. I feel like it'd be weird for them to remove Anthem, considering the game's going to be up for another 6 months or whatever. They might as well just leave it in Game Pass. I am trying to get it done. We talked about it like the last couple of weeks, but so not sure about Anthem. I guess we'll see. I think we all pretty much own it because they do like 90% sales on it all the time. But
yeah, definitely have that one. So.
But yeah, so I guess we'll see. I don't know. Is anything interesting you guys on there in Game Pass? I mean,
I think Herdling looks cute, but that's still a few weeks away. I thought Mirage was a pretty decent game for anybody that doesn't have the Plus.
Mirage was fine. Yeah, it was decent. Yeah.
I mean, there's games on here that I want to play. I just haven't got around to. I haven't heard of Rainworld though. That does not ring a bell.
Rainworld's a really interesting one. Very, very difficult game. The kind of thing where if you wanted to challenge someone, it'd be a good game to ruin their day.
When he said that, oh, this art looks lovely.
It's a beautiful, beautiful game. The idea is you're a slug cat and you kind of just get thrown into this world with a spear, and that's pretty much it. You got to figure it all out, like how the systems work, how the enemies work, how to survive. Like the game tells you very, very little. Was very popular in the kind of indie, grueling difficulty indie scene. A lot of streamers played it as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Oh.
Video Cult. What else have they made?
Yeah.
Primal Planet. Yeah, no, haven't heard of them before.
No, I think that was their big thing. Patreon. Patreon.com.
Oh, they.
Yes.
Oh, okay, so. Sorry, they just released a new game like a week and a half ago.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Called Primal. Oh, well. Oh, no, sorry, they bundled another game. Never mind. I'm way off.
Patreon.com/WallTheGamers. If you want to help support the show in any way, it's basically a platform for you to donate to each month. That helps support the show, so we can do things like competitions, and you get extra content. So we don't gate that behind anything more than like the $2 tier. So no matter how much you give or how little you give, we want you to get something for it. So any kind of behind the scenes stuff that we do, any extra podcasts, any big chats that we have. So a huge thank you to Old Mate Clown, Cavalier07, Hack and Pone, Kung Fu Skills, Happy Moogles, Admiral Awesome, Natolinator, Lee Howard, Left for Legacy, and Venom AU. We literally could not afford to do the show without you guys, because the bills I get, those Patreon things go straight to paying that. So we are just self-sufficient. So thank you so much. Monthly theme. Keo, do you want to go with this one?
Yeah, so the bimestral burden. Every 2 months we have a theme, basically, and July and August has been coping. So it's you and your buddies against the world, and play your co-op games, like we all have been playing co-op games pretty religiously. So jump on that stuff.
Co-op on that thing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of that, let's get into what we've been playing. I'm going to basically just copy and paste what I was playing last week, because there's been no fucking change. I had big plans to be playing stuff on Game Pass and stuff, and Anthem was like, oh no, I'm leaving Game Pass. And I'm like, fuck. Well, I started the game, so now I've been blitzing through it. So I've got like 8 achievements left or something. I'm just grinding out levels and getting shitty collectibles, and I'm fucking tired of this game. It's so basic. Again, with just the same shit we talked about last week, but it's like, it feels like the first draft for a game, where it's like it's one relatively small map without really good kind of no difference in biomes, no difference in enemies, very little difference in weapons. The javelins are kind of not that interesting to use. The story is piss poor, and the actual gameplay is just boring as fucking hell. But I'm committed now. I've got 8 achievements left to get, and I'm going to try and get it done this weekend if I can. But we'll see how it goes.
No good Charlotte either.
No,
Very
true. Yeah, no. I'm throwing my hands up all the time, and it's not doing anything. The only other thing I've been playing is I just finished the story for Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Finally got to the end of it, 65 hours in. Got some cleanup to do. Then it's the DLC. I like the narrative. Like, I think the narrative bit is actually quite good, but there's just so much just like kind of relatively boring side quests and characters you don't care about. And even the slightly meatier quests on some of the islands are maybe a bit more interesting, but there's just, again, it suffers from the Ubisoft open world bloat.
Yeah.
And like this is definitely pushing up against what I can put up with in terms of like dealing with all that bullshit. I'm not super looking forward to going back to Shadows now that has title updates that make you play through the game twice. So, but yeah,
that Shadows one, it's not good.
Yeah, so I guess I know that they're doing a content update as well that's coming out, which will almost certainly have achievements. So I guess we'll get back into that at some stage. But this has been my kind of project game for a little bit, and then I get to go back to playing something else. Not sure quite yet what it's going to be as my next project. Probably Kingdom Hearts, but we'll see. The only other thing I did play was the latest update for Rise of the Golden Idol. They've just released the latest update, which has 4 more cases in it. Did the first 2, having a really, really good time with it. It is definitely a bit of a mind bender as always, and the puzzles, the DLC puzzles are always like the hardest ones. So Alice and I have been kind of sitting there and doing that, and that's been having a great time with it, trying to logic it all out. Nothing makes you feel like a genius more than that game. So definitely would recommend it. They got, I think, 1 more DLC pack coming out soon as well.
One unobtainable at the moment?
Yeah, there is an unobtainable, but they're pretty good. They had one in the last update as well. They're really good at fixing it, though. It'll be retroactive, so cool. They're actually pretty good with that. I do want to play Crime Scene Cleaner. I know I said that last week. I just never got around to it, but that's probably...
I think they just released an update for it.
Yeah, they got the title update, which apparently is just kind of the nightmare versions of the original levels, so we'll see how it goes. But that's me. Kia, what about you?
Oh, well, I've been playing quite a few different things. In my own time, I've kind of just been doing stuff like Power Wash Simulator. Grabbed all the DLCs and started doing some of those. So I've done the Alice in Wonderland one, and I've done the Warhammer one as well. And damn, that Warhammer one, man, the machines that you have to clean and all of the mechanical, in the cogs and around the bits and in between stuff is really grinding. So I got all that done. But it's just some of the things are just so big. The Alice one was really, really good. I actually really like that because there's a lot of really plain surfaces and you can clearly distinguish certain areas and actually clean things really well.
Right.
And it was quite well done. So I have to do the Back to the Future one, the SpongeBob, and the Shrek one. They're the ones that I have left. So I'm going to leave the Back to the Future one for last, and then probably just do the other 2 first. So I've been working on those. I've also been doing Monster Hunter World still. The thing, probably, I know everybody says that the worst thing about the game is the crowns. And the crowns are basically getting the biggest and the smallest version of each monster. And you basically get a gold crown for both ends of the spectrum. And what people are doing is that they have, somebody's taken a snapshot of standing next to the monster and then measuring how big the character is to the creature's feet.
It's like the thing when you're in the book where it's like the human next to the dinosaur, right? And just scale
yeah. And that's how people are like, okay, so it's got to be... So, in theory, you have to stand next to the monster, work out how big it is compared to the picture that people have posted on the internet to tell if it's the biggest or the smallest version of the monster, to see if it's worth fighting, because the fight's probably going to take half an hour. Right?
That's like Rainbow, geolocator, fucking GeoGuessr shit, where it's just
Yeah. Yeah, so it's really entertaining to kind of see some of the stuff that people had to do in this game, because everything takes time. The thing that's taking the most amount of time, which I think, the absolute worst feature, is something called Paw Swap. So Paw Swap is something that they added where you've got basically creatures in each of the lands, so the forest and the swampy areas and all that kind of stuff, all of the different areas in the volcano area, the biomes, that's the word. And you have to get each of these to level 6. And to get to level 6, you have to go into the level, go find them, and then have one of them hang around with you for a while. And then when you defeat a monster or something, all of that goes up. So you've got to go and find them every single time you go in. And then eventually you get to level 6, and then the pain begins. So after they're level 6, you unlock the ability to have... you go to their base, to their home, and then you can swap with them. And it's RNG, but you basically take all of the items in your inventory, and you see if one of them wants it. And there's 3 there, and one of them could want it. They all could want it, and that's great. You can Paw Swap 3 times successfully before you have to basically finish your expedition, go back to the camp, and then come back out. And this is fully loading out of the map back to the headquarters and then back into the map, and then going through all your items and then trying to do 3, and then maybe it'll RNG they will or won't. I've taken the same items and then zoned out and zoned back in, and then the creatures want that item that they didn't want like last time.
Amazing.
So, and then you have 10 levels of basically you know from like the Final Fantasy games, you've got like Chocobo Hot and Cold and stuff like that, where you get treasures, and then you have to take that clue and then go and hunt over here, and then take the next clue and go hunt over here. You have to do that 10 times with 6 different biomes of creatures. So you've got to get 6 different biomes of creatures up to level 6, and then RNG through all of your inventory 3 times, zoning in and zoning out, to then maybe get a treasure clue, and then you have to do that 10 times. And then closer to the end of that, it's like you go to 1 clue, and then it takes you to the next 2, and then to the next clue. And it takes a good 2, 3, maybe 4 hours worth of full game sessions to get through all 10 like treasures.
Oh man, that sounds hellish.
So yeah, I've done 3 out of the 6, and I've basically spent like the whole time that you guys were playing Anthem the other night. I actually sat here and just had a couple of drinks by myself and just didn't even want to be in a party. I'm just like, I'm gonna watch some scary shit on YouTube and then put this thing on, and then just like, because I couldn't be in a party watching somebody else play, other people play things,
playing a game.
Play with other people and other people having fun while I'm trying to do this poor swap stuff. But yeah, so I knew it was going to be tedious. It's just like everything in this game takes time. So and it's built for you to spend entire sessions doing these things.
It's the big reason why I can't bring myself to play them, right? Because as much fun as I know I'd have in like a co-op team, and we'd kind of go fuck some things up and just kind of have a good time. There's just so much around it that it just like feels like just massive time vampires.
Yeah. So my advice would be play Wilds, because it takes 100 hours.
Yeah.
I hit the end of the expansion at 200 hours, and I'm at 300 hours. And most of that has happened in the last 2 months. So I've spent a lot of time in this game so far. But having a ball, like, and then looking up, getting sucked into the things people are doing on the internet with this game, and then just improving. Like, I've got 3 out of 5 pieces of gear, all that kind of stuff. So I'm nearly maxed out, and then I have to get to the master rank 100.
Yeah.
And then you have to get to master rank 200 to get the final achievement for that. So I'm at master rank 53. So I unlocked master rank, and then it boosted me to 36, and then I've only gone up like 20 ranks or something.
Oh man, yeah. That's rough.
But other than that,
I was to say anything else?
There's a couple of things. I have done my co-op runs in Warhammer Dawn of War 2.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a throwback.
A game, so Windows Live. And the guy that I was playing it with, a good friend of mine, he's realized that he's could be closer to finishing the game than he thought he ever could be. So because he was only just jumping in to help me with the co-op stuff, and he's like, oh, maybe we could actually get pretty close to the end of the game, because there's a couple of achievements that need like 5 or 6 people, which is really dampens things out when it's so far into the future and so little people have it. Other than that, the Alien Breed games on the 360.
I saw you playing that. I finished the first 2. I have the third one there that I started but didn't get much progress in.
Yes, so loaded them up mostly to do with Death Jester. He picked up the game on disc because I had it, and I've got another person in another Discord that was looking for somebody, and I'm like, I have it. I haven't managed to do it with them, but Jester finally got his copy, and we loaded up the first game, and it took us a few runs to do the 2 achievements that we needed to get. They're online, offline, but realistically enough happens in that game that you can't do it with 2 controllers and just be idle.
Yeah.
So you need to have so it's a simple run through the map and then like without dying or something. I can't remember what the first achievements were. I have to have
one of them's like don't get hit, or what one of the players don't get hit or something. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Don't lose any health. I think you can lose armor or some shit. But yeah, it was.
The second one we haven't done that yet. So the achievements I've unlocked because I've got it up here now. When it wants to load, is complete a level hydroponics in co-op. But if you do that level without losing a life, you also get the other achievement as well. Because it was just do co-op 1 level of your choosing without losing a life. We did the second game but struggled because that's the one where you had to basically in multiplayer finish cargo in under 10 minutes.
Yep.
And then complete a multiplayer level. But there's another one that requires you to complete it without taking any damage, and that's the one we struggle with because there's actually a cheese with the second game that with the 10 minutes or less one, whereas if you load into survival and then if you're doing this single player with just like an extra controller, load into survival, die, and then load from that without loading out, load into the level you want to cargo the level, and then die, and then load back into the survival mode. It pretends it for some reason thinks that you've actually finished the level in under 10 minutes.
Oh, right.
And then just gives you the achievement.
Oh, nice. That's handy.
Yeah. So we did that, but we needed to do the we really struggled with the finishing it under 10 minutes like naturally.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go back and do the other one in a few weeks because he's not available for a little while. The third game though was a little bit easier. It was just kill 250 aliens in survival mode. You just had to go to a specific spot on one of the maps, and then it's have one person die and just block the enemies from getting to you. And then you had easy access to like the remaining aliens, and then it was just complete a level of multiplayer. So, but it was fun. It's janky that in single player you can rotate the camera, but multiplayer you can't. It's fixed perspective, and the other worst part about it is that you clip on everything. You absolutely clip on absolutely everything. The other player, everything in the environment. Doesn't matter what it is, and then when that happens with the fixed perspective in co-op, the screen jitters like it's a low frame rate. So it just jitters all over the place, so you can't see what's going on the screen as you're trying to run through the level like hectically under 10 minutes or something like that. You just get stuck on stuff because you can't see it. But yeah, that's what I've been playing. So I've been having some fun, doing a lot of co-op stuff. Weird co-op old. So.
Yeah.
But
Cameron, what about you?
Pretty much the same as last week.
Well, I'm glad I had something different.
Me too.
We got one new challenge done for Super Dungeon Bros, and pretty much the only thing to add to that is me and Keo have just been messaging the group chat each day, just being like, "Bro, question mark, bro, yes, there's new match." Oh no,
and then we'd be like, "Nah, bro,
nah, bro, yeah, nah, bro."
Yeah. There is one challenge left that we have to do together, and it's basically have one bro without upgrading any weapon.
Yeah.
So one person's going to have to run through the level with maxing out and just doing everything, and the other one's just going to have to idle.
It'll be on a day where both of us are busy and we'll be absolutely
just not available.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
When does that one shut down again?
Other than that,
it doesn't really shut down.
No,
it's
no.
past the. It was if in case the server, the platform that shut down.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
In case it affected it, but it didn't.
I was trying to remember why you guys were playing this trash. Yeah.
Yeah.
7.5 ratio.
That is a good ratio.
Is,
Not enough for me to start it, but tempting.
Yeah. Nice to get a
Very
game whole
mind-numbing,
game
though.
done. Yeah.
All right. I guess we should move on then if there's nothing else. We also have the word challenge. Everyone's favorite competition where I come up with a game and then you go and guess what it is on our Discord. And each week I give away a clue. So the first clue was that this is a handheld game. Second clue is this game takes place in the USA. So hopefully that's helpful. You know, think about some context of like, oh, a game takes place in the USA. What does that mean? What kind of game could it be? So yeah, get your guesses in. I haven't seen too many guesses, which I guess like telling you it's a handheld kind of does make it a pretty big pool of games. But you get one guess per hour, so go for your life. Completions. Keo, do you want to read through those?
Yep. Actually, just give me a moment. Sorry. Completion shoutouts because the other one was the leaderboard was.
Leaderboard first.
So
actually, sorry.
the wrong thing.
Yeah. Sorry. Cameron, do you want to do the leaderboard?
Yep. Leaderboard is in number 3. We have Ozbufanatic at 20,625. Very good. Second, we have Basham at 22,350. And in first, we have To Nobody's Surprise Ever, Thrash Forever at 32,170.
Again, I don't understand how Thrash has time for any of this. Even playing baby games, there's still so much score per week.
Yeah, so much.
What's the site leaderboard now?
In terms of like who's at the top?
I'm just having a look.
It's probably is
Redemption,
Redemption's still
Jimmy.
at the top? Yeah.
Yeah, I was just wondering where he was. Budix is in 17th. What else do we know up there? He's got to be top 100, right?
Me? I don't think I'm top.
Yeah,
100.
46. No. Thrash. 46.
Thrash, yeah, Thrash is definitely 100%.
Yeah.
Dish is in 40th.
Yeah, Dish is cleaning up as always. All right, so now,
All right.
Keo, do you want to do the completions?
Yeah, I've got these up now. So, Shane did Valiant Hearts Coming Home. Because he realized he was still paying for Ubisoft Plus.
Since March or whatever.
Yep. Left 4 Legacy did Battlefield 1 and Need for Speed Rivals. So top stuff. Just Jake did Need for Speed Rivals. Rapture did Chia. Mike did Destiny. So that's another one of our homeboys in on the Destiny 360.
He got through it pretty quick too.
360 version one. Yeah. So there was a few of us that gave him some really, really good advice, and it really worked and paid out well for him. And he's in a Discord that's getting a lot of, got a lot of attention too.
Oh, okay.
So,
right.
yeah. Red Ninja Dan did DC's Justice League Cosmic Chaos, the inspiration for our question this week. And Happy Moogles did Anthem, and Spice did Shadow Labyrinth. Is that out?
Yeah, apparently I completely forgot. I didn't realize it came out. Yeah, it's the one, for those who don't know, is the Pac-Man based Dark World Metroidvania that's apparently quite interesting. So keen to hear a bit more about that.
Yeah, I did not realize that at all. Yeah, interesting. So, but also we've got that. Is it Ninja Gaiden one that came out?
Oh yeah, the one from the Blasphemous devs. Apparently, it's really good.
So there's a couple of they're just creeping out, and I'm missing them, unfortunately. So yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's pretty much going to bring us to the end of the show. As always, we do the show live on Twitch, Xbox Hall of Gamers. Come say hi, hang out. Check us out next episode if you want to see our beautiful faces, especially if you're an audio listener. We do this, like I said, we do it on Twitch, but we also put the VODs up on YouTube if you want to catch them, if you want to see the old episodes. And Char does a wonderful thumbnail each week, so don't miss on that. But yeah, Keo, anything you want to shill?
Not a whole lot at the moment. Just you can find me at How to Fix Gaming on YouTube for any of my past videos, and there's nothing really current, but Keo Live at Home everywhere else. For now. So yeah, reach out.
Cameron, what about you?
Join us next week where we rename the show to include more protein.
More protein.
We rebrand it. It'll have like a black label and it'll just be Protein Plus.
I'm taking one episode off and you're suddenly going to turn this into a fucking fitness podcast.
Yeah, also could be called Steamy.
So. No. Fitting this dick. Yeah, all right. All right, well, I think that is definitely where we're going to wrap up episode 180. We will catch you guys next week. See you later.